Ciao.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Nightcap. Happy to have you all. Happy to have you all back. I can talk, I promise. I'm Levi Stevenson, joined once again by Matthias Schwarzkopf and our child producer Aiden Wyatt. How's it going?
Do you always say that?
Producer usually. I don't know if I think that may be the first time I've used child producer, but our child producer and I'm also joined by a person who has produced a child. So what,
Oh yeah, that's me. I was like, who?
That's you, bud.
Father of the year.
It's like one of those where you're just sitting there playing, or you're like sitting
wait,
there
I have
Xbox,
a kid
like that, and you're like, oh shit, I got a kid. Like me with my dog. It's like, oh shit, what's the dog doing?
Where did the child go?
Yeah. So anyways, so this week we don't have a guest this week, but we do have one next week that we can probably tease at the end of the episode.
Is it confirmed?
I don't know. We should find out. But anyways,
he plays quarterback for the Phoenix Suns.
Plays quarterback for the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
Figure it out.
Should help everybody out. But this week we're going to talk a little bit. This is actually fun fact. Today is actually Wide Right's 11th anniversary. Wide Right was born 11 years ago today. We're still trying to figure out a way to celebrate our 10th anniversary. Still haven't had that party yet. But today
we're still trying to figure out while we're still here.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how this is still going. Literally counting down to the days we get canceled by Fran McCaffrey and Gary
of Iowa.
Gary Barta and Fran McCaffrey. I'm afraid. I don't live that far away from Iowa City. Like I feel like Fran's going to show up at my door someday, and he's going to try to give me a talking to.
Honestly, what is the odds? Like someday, like we just keep writing satire, right? And like University of Iowa, like the president, Gary Barta, just have a meeting someday. Like, we're tired of these motherfuckers. Like, I know they're just like a bunch of children, like writing stuff. Like they just graduated elementary school and somebody handed them a computer, but like we need to do something about this.
Yeah. They're
do you think that's like a possible like thing? Like that could happen?
The good news is that if they decide to sue us into oblivion,
we have no money.
This is going to get real quick. This is going to be a really quick decision. Like it's not going to.
Can't we just play the Uno reverse card and sue them right back?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I'll have to find someone that's willing to do some pro bono.
Well, we know if we were to sue them, the odds of us winning are pretty high, and we don't even
on the basis purely on the basis of satire. I'm fairly confident that like
no, not even on satire. Like they're just that bad at legal proceedings.
Oh, just in general, yes. Just as
Gary Barta's handing out free money just to anybody who sues the University of Iowa.
I think Gary's below the Mendoza line on his court cases. So
Wide Right Natty Lights could be the one that buries him below it.
There we go. So, anyways, today talk a little bit about some of the big achievements over the weekend for Iowa State sports. Softball, track having big weekends. We'll talk a little bit because this came up because of the Jamie Pollard thing yesterday. And people were talking about baseball and bringing back baseball. And so we're going to have a little bit of conversation on kind of what do we think about bringing back baseball, but also if we were going to bring back a sport, would it be baseball? Would it be something else? Kind of what that kind of looks like. We'll have Aiden versus the 90s. I believe we've also got another segment that we will bring in later. Do we want to tell them about now or just bring in, I don't know, later? We don't have an intro. We don't have like a special intro for it yet.
This person does not play quarterback for the Phoenix Suns.
Thanks.
This is the part of the podcast where I derail it. I haven't derailed the podcast in like quite some time, so it's about time I start.
That's because I do my best to keep you off of a microphone. You just keep showing up in front of it.
Well, I mean, we bought it, so might as well use it, right?
That's maybe my biggest regret as managing editor of this is giving you a way to record your own voice.
Yeah.
Really goes all the way around for pretty much the entire group. But anyways, so we'll get into that. We should say thank you to our sponsors at Stoss Bar and Grill in Ames, though. Wonderful sponsors that have helped us out with a lot of different stuff for a long, long time. They're everything's pretty much wide open now, obviously, with the CDC lifting their mask mandates and all that, and even no social distancing, which is excellent news for full Jack Trice Stadium in the fall. and even an unmasked one potentially. Actually, I would say it's almost likely at this point. But anyways, Estas will be right there. They've still got their tacos. Taco Tuesday, which is technically going on right now. So if you're watching this at Estas, shout out to you. You're our favorites. They've also got their 11 to 3 taco bar every day. Bottomless tacos for $8, which is crazy. Just continue to give away food for no discernible reason. But who's to tell them no? And I also do know that there is confirmation that an Estas taco truck is coming, and we're very excited for that. We're gonna do an episode of this from a Estas or from a taco truck at some point. That is gonna happen. Potentially help them maybe kick off their taco truck. Who knows? But anyways, if you're looking for some delicious food or some cold drinks, head on over to Estas Bar and Grill and Ames and grab yourself some of those things.
You think they'll let us drive the taco truck?
They mayo.
Let's do it.
Ooh.
I didn't even acknowledge it.
I tried. I didn't. That was a poor effort. I didn't put any effort into it. Anyways, so this past weekend, Iowa State had a pretty good weekend, especially softball and track. Had a very, very good weekend. Softball picking up their first softball NCAA regionals bid since, was it 1980? You have the year specifically is like 1988. And that was this is only their second regionals appearance ever. We're going to get back into that. Aiden, hide his comment because we're not talking about that yet. Damn it.
Sorry.
Freaking child producers.
That was me.
That was you?
He's the child.
Grown man producer.
Grown ass man doesn't know what's going on. Anyways, we'll get into that in a little bit. But softball having a really good weekend, playing in their NCAA regional, and they're also in the regional with UNI and Mizzou, correct?
Correct.
Which they've actually beaten both of those this season.
Yep, split with UNI, beat them by 10 and then lost by 10.
What about Mizzou? What was the score of the Mizzou game?
I'm not sure. Let me look it up.
I believe it was 9-8.
So, anyways, got a real chance to come out of that regional and actually make it to the softball World Series finals.
Yeah, for being the last team pretty much selected into the tournament.
They might make it out of this thing.
Yeah, teams that you've already beat and you're going to play them again. I feel like that's the best case scenario of a draw.
That's just about as good as it can possibly get. And obviously, kind of the leader of all this is, maybe the best Iowa State softball player ever in Sammy Williams.
Maybe it is not a maybe.
I only say maybe because I'm not intimately familiar with the history of Iowa State softball and what
she is the all-time leader
players
in hits in the Big 12 conference.
I did know that. So okay, we'll call Sammy's the best Iowa State softball player.
Yeah.
I will go with that. Yeah, that's you make a compelling argument with her being the all-time hits leader in the Big 12. You make a compelling argument.
You've sold him.
Yes. So huge for them. So congrats to Jamie Pinkerton and that whole group for making everybody proud and having a really great spring and getting that program hopefully to a point where they can be competitive on the national stage on a regular basis, not just when the greatest player ever shows up.
Yeah.
Is this Pinkerton's second or third year?
Good question. I think
he's got 100 wins, so
I think it's his. I want to say it's like his third win, but let me see.
Remember 100%?
Yeah, I actually am not sure off the top of my head. Named 9th head coach in 2017, so this would be his 18, 19, 20, 21. This would be his 4th season, actually.
Well, 3rd season because they didn't play last year.
Oh, that's right, they didn't play last year. So yeah, 3rd season.
Not too shabby.
For people that aren't aware, I mean, Iowa State softball does not have a colorful history. It's not a well decorated history or anything. So to get them to their second ever regionals, in his 3rd playing season, with the best player in school history, I mean, that's really impressive, and you gotta like the future of that program. And actually, Sammy Williams was also taken. I think it was at 6th or 8th in the draft. I want to say she was taken 8th in the draft for pro softball. We'll have Aiden pull that up. But the other kind of big winner of the weekend was Iowa State track and field, which people, if you don't pay attention to them, both cross country and track and field, Iowa State has very, very good distance runners in both.
We're a track powerhouse, if you want to call it
something like that, at least at distance. Anyways, I haven't seen any of our sprinters, like, posting NCAA records or anything like that anytime recently, but cross country wins Big 12 titles pretty regularly, and Iowa State cranks out distance runners in track and field, pretty crazy. They've had lots of great. They had Edwin Kurgat for a while. Then this past weekend, is it Wesley Kiptoo? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Yeah, Wesley Kiptoo had an excellent weekend. He won a triple. Let me see. I'm not a track person. I've never watched. I was not in track. I'm not.
Oh yeah, this is the portion of the podcast where a fat guy will critique Iowa State track.
Go for it, because my track knowledge is extraordinarily limited.
We're good. That's all.
yeah, we're good.
What was Kiptoo was he was up for the basically like the Heisman version of track, right? Mm-hmm. So the dude's a stud. It goes without saying, like you've been saying, is the distance teams on our Iowa State, for a long time have been very good. So it's something that I think even myself and probably our site and Iowa State fans in general, we probably could get invested in a little bit more, because it's one of the consistent teams that we have here at Iowa State that continually put up numbers and bring home trophies.
Yeah, especially at the distance, because on both the men's and women's side, they've really kind of owned those distance events, both in track and then obviously in cross country as well. What was the triple that he pulled off this weekend?
So he won the 3,000 steeplechase, the 5,000 meter run, and the 10,000 meter run.
Wow!
So dude's running literally all day and
steeplechase. Steeplechases are intense, because that's one where you're jumping over shit and you have to like land in water and stuff, right? That's steeplechase. Okay.
Yep. And that was the first time since he's been at Iowa State that he entered that event.
And he just owned it.
Yeah. It said he led wire to wire.
It's incredible.
14 seconds ahead of second place.
I remember seeing someone.
14 seconds.
Wow.
Jesus.
I remember seeing someone maybe in the Discord say that his first 400 of the 10,000 meter run, his first 400 was 62 seconds. In a 10,000. That's cooking.
That's unreal.
That's cooking.
shout out to our people hanging out in our Discord. If you aren't in part of the Discord, please do join, because there's a section for literally every Iowa State sport that we have, and there's people who follow each one that, if you're not, I know there are people who are maybe not particularly fans of football. I mean, they'll watch football because it's there, or basketball, whatever it may be, or if they just like Iowa State women's basketball, whatever it may be. There's a section for everything, and everybody talks about it. So it's actually pinned on our Twitter. You can join the Discord still now. We'll share it on the Facebook page, but it's kind of like a more modernized version of a forum. It's kind of like a big chat. It's kind of a forum, but also kind of a chat room. So like, here, hopefully it's zoomed in enough so people can see it, but if not, which I don't know. It's not really.
It's not. Okay. I'll pull it up in my browser, but basically, you've got all sorts of categories for football and basketball, and we got recruiting, tailgate. We got a tailgating section. We've got stuff for men's and women's basketball. We've got stuff for softball, wrestling, Iowa State history, with like, if you got a question about a historical thing, got a section for that. We've got an art section. So people that are in like graphic design or video editing, people have been in there giving, if you did a graphic design project or something like that you thought is pretty cool, or that you want some tips on, wherever, you toss it in there, and there's a bunch of people in there that kind of know stuff as far as.
I don't know if I should.
No!
Hilarious.
Oh no! But we've also, I mean, we've got chat rooms for NFL, NBA, NHL, all the pro leagues. We've got stuff for gambling. We've got a lawn and garden section where people are talking about how they take care of their lawns and when they're seeding and when they're putting fertilizer down, when they're watering stuff, all that good stuff. We've got food and booze. We've got music, movies, books. We've got one of our most active ones is the big gaming discussion.
Surprisingly,
like this guy sharing his PC setup. Wow, that is a cocky PC setup. That's pretty.
I respect that.
I respect that. He's rocking 4 monitors. So I respect that. That's pretty awesome. So people talking about their PC setups, talking hardware, talking video games, all sorts of stuff. We've got a looking for group if you're looking for someone to play. Someone's posting their Wii Me there. But all sorts of stuff. The Wide Right Discord is a really, really fun time. Lots of great discussion.
Yeah, like I said earlier, there's a link on our Twitter that's pinned. I believe the link is still active. If not, we'll repost it. But
it is.
You can join. You can join off of that, and I will probably repost it on our Facebook page at some point too, just to reboost it. Because right now there's about 336 real people that we assume are real people at this point. We did have one bot invasion, but it was quickly banned. So
did we have a bot?
We had a fake account pop in.
Well, that's how you know you're doing. That's how you know it's a real.
That's how you know
Discord.
you've made it when
you've made it when
your.
Was it like a good porn bot or was it just a bot?
Just something like advertising, like something for your skin or some shit. I don't even remember. It was a while ago, but yeah.
If you're gonna be a bot, at least show up with like telling me about singles in my area or something like that.
Yeah. People
provide some service to me.
We don't really. There isn't like any like news or something that we hear about that is shared in there just because we don't want to be those guys that give you the wrong information by any means. Sure. But people do like. Talk about recruiting, they hear stuff. I mean, people all over the state of Iowa hear things and they'll share it in there and things like that. So I mean, it's a fun time. So if you're not part of it, join.
Think of it like a forum, kind of like the old school forums used to be. You can think of it kind of like that, except for it's set up more like a chat. Where you can have quick discussions back and forth. And you're not refreshing for posts and stuff like that. It's a more streamlined.
Tennis team was a hot topic for a while.
The tennis team was a pretty hot topic. Recruiting keeps showing up. I forgot we have a meme page. People just post funny memes. But just it's stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Hot 4-star recruits in your area. That's the best kind of bot.
Yeah.
Shout out Nicholas. He's a long time Wide Right guy. He's a great dude.
Also member of the Wide Right Nanny Light Discord.
Also member of the Discord. He watches our streams all the time. Nick's the best. I hope we get to see Nick at a.
So there are much more people who are entwined that know more about track than what we do that are in there. Maybe, probably. Like I said, I'm a fat guy. I obviously don't know much about track because
we're all long past our running days.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it was like an offensive lineman and defensive lineman in high school running the 800 meter. That's how much I knew about track, right? I was dumb enough to run the 800 meter.
Yeah. I played golf, so I cleaned my hands and absolved myself.
It's 100% true. We are not responsible for false information.
Yes, we are not at all responsible for any garbage anybody puts in there. But actually, what's funny though is that the Discord has been like really, really good. I've not seen like any like toxic conversations or anything like that. Like, it's just people that love Iowa State and just love stuff. Like, and we've got people from Oklahoma State and TCU and Iowa and all, like Micah from Cowboys Ride for Free. She's in there all the time talking about stuff. We've got some Texas A&M people. We've got people we've got people from all sorts of different fandoms and whatever else, and they're just talking about stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
You would think there'd be more Hawkeye fan invasion, but there really hasn't been.
There's really just one.
It's Paul Blart. One that's active enough, and Paul Blart. Shout out to Paul Blart if he's in here. The only Iowa fan that can take shit and not get butthurt about it, I guess.
Yep. Congrats
to Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
He's even earned his own emoji inside the Wide Right Natty like Discord. So,
all right, did he get his own emoji? Did we give him his own emoji?
I did.
Nice.
I did.
Nice work. And you'll be in. So like in what team you're a fan of changes the color of your name in the chat. So like Iowa State's red and Oklahoma State's orange and all this. We gave Iowa pink for their locker room. So it's always funny because you can just Paul is the only one with a pink name in the entire chat.
Yep.
That's right. But yeah, so anyways, that's our long pitch for joining the Discord. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to have good conversations off of Twitter, so you're not constrained to that the character limit. You're talking with people that are actually there to talk about stuff and not just yell at each other.
Say what you want and not get quote tweeted.
No kidding. Yeah, there's no passive aggressive quote tweeting. It's great. It's such a healthier place to have a conversation about stuff than Twitter. I can't highly recommend it enough if you're actually wanting to talk and have conversations about Iowa State or whatever, anything you can think of. And if you get in there and you find you want to talk about something and a bunch of other people want to talk about something, we don't have a room for it, we can make one. No problem. That's a great one. We have, that's one here. We have an introduce yourself room where people will come in and they'll tell about why they're an Iowa State fan. There's tons of posts in there too. People jump in and say, how long they've been an Iowa State fan or why they are, all their different stories about how why they got there and why they're an Iowa State fan. It's always fun to read those stuff. So yeah, great mention there, Nate.
So softball, hey.
Yeah, softball.
So when's the first game is, Aiden, you have that?
Yeah, what's the schedule for the regional?
It's on ESPN Plus. I do know that.
So we play on Friday.
Friday against
at 1:00.
So it refresh my, and I think I know how this goes. But if you lose, you're not exclusively out, or is that wrong?
I think it's double elimination, correct?
Yeah, double elimination.
So theoretically, they could end up playing like you and I twice.
Yep. Theoretically, yes. If you and I won and then they lost later in the bracket, yes.
And one team leaves from the regional, correct? Yep.
I believe so.
See, when you don't have a baseball team and a softball team,
you're right. We don't pay attention.
We have no idea how this works.
No idea how any of this works. No reason to know how any of this works.
Now we have a reason.
Yes. Now we're going to be paying attention to it. But it's been a good year. It's been a great spring though for the kind of the lesser known sport, the lesser watched sports. Softball, track, tennis. Obviously had a really awesome. They made their first ever NCAA tournament final, whatever you want to call it. It actually advanced to the round of third and actually advanced to the next round too. So that's really awesome for them. That whole team is except for one. That entire team is freshmen. The whole team. It's incredible.
Yep. So we're building the Matt Campbell style of women's tennis that will return everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to the tennis team.
Yeah. So I think one of the things though that the reason that maybe people didn't hear about it this weekend though is because that as Jamie had alluded to is that knowingly or not or intentionally or not, the Des Moines Register didn't feature Iowa State track or softball or Iowa State softball or even UNI softball as much as they did Iowa. But obviously the big front page story the other day was the 20-year anniversary of Iowa State dropping baseball. And it was the story of the final season. Now, I read it, and credit to Tommy Birch. I really enjoyed that article. I thought it was really cool. I thought he did a great job on it. So certainly worth reading for sure. But yeah, there's the controversial Jamie tweet. I don't know. I'm still kind of I don't know. I've looked at this tweet about 100 times and I can't figure out how I feel about it yet. I know, Matthias,
I feel like Jamie Pollard's like my spirit animal because that's exactly something I would have tweeted.
It does feel like
the hilarious thing was though, like there was no story on their webpage about the softball team until after that tweet came out.
All right. Yeah. So
they're like, they probably like saw that tweet. Like, oh shit, we fucked up.
Yeah. And it's like, but I don't know if we really need to get into too much of the philosophy. You can. It
is what it is because that's what Jamie Pollard is. Take it for what it is. You can be mad about it, you can like it, you can whatever, but it's still Jamie Pollard at the end of the day, and he's our Lord and Savior, man.
Well, yeah, and you take the good with the bad, and even the bad though. In this particular situation, the bad is because he is so passionate. So I mean, it's like if he didn't care, he wouldn't tweet something like this.
And if this is the worst bad that we're gonna get, I'm okay with
totally
tweet.
fine with it. Totally fine with him getting into random little Twitter wars.
Yeah, he didn't lose a lawsuit about somebody he fired.
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah, that's a tough look. That's a tough look.
Yeah. And which was the inspiration for today's satire article that came out about Gary Barta complaining that Des Moines Register doesn't cover as many Iowa State lawsuits as Iowa lawsuits.
Yeah,
that's why.
Old Pollard, he woke up feeling violent yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He woke up. He was sassy, and it just is what it is. Like I said, don't really need to dive too much philosophically into it. But anyways, where I was using that as a jumping off point, though, is that there was a lot of people that have, obviously the conversation around bringing Iowa State baseball back has been around for a long time. And people keep saying, well, we should bring it back. We should bring it back. We should bring it back. And as Jamie has said on multiple occasions, not quite that simple. So yeah, Stephen Smith saying, he talked about bringing it back a couple years ago and said it wasn't possible because of Title IX and revenue issues. Bingo. That's what it is. The first time around it was budget issues in Title IX. And that's exactly what it was. That is why Iowa State dropped baseball. And that's why, short of some absurd cash flow influx of donate, some donor just brings in, donates $100 million and say a chunk of this has to go to bringing back baseball. Short of that, I don't see it because Title IX. But the way if people don't necessarily know how it works, Title IX. People know what Title IX is, but it's not the number of sports that it regulates. It's the number of scholarships proportional to to the demographics of your total student body. And the way it shakes out right now is, that where Iowa State is right now is where that balance is, or how reasonably close you can get to that balance. Now, there's a conversation to be had about, is it fair that football football eats up 85 scholarships or something like that, so that eats up a huge number of scholarships from one sport. Is there a conversation to be had about rebalancing that so that way you're not what you can have more men's sports to make that up? That's a different conversation for another day. But I don't know. I guess I don't personally see a road back to getting baseball back. I don't know about you guys. I don't see the road back, but maybe you guys see it a different way.
Well, I think the Pandora's box has probably been closed, just because if it was gonna be here today, it would have stayed. The only issue, my thing is, and I think I think people touched on this before, right when the pandemic was starting, right? Everybody's worried about programs being dropped because of, money issues. Iowa was dropping so and so sports. Stanford dropped almost 10 sports, which today they brought them back.
Not dropping them, yeah.
So, but the conversation was, okay, Iowa State, we're at, what was it? I don't know. We're at 16 scholarship sports,
something like
18,
that.
And the threshold to be a Division I program is right below where we're at.
It's 14.
So 14. So
it's 16.
If we had huge, which we are in a budget constraint right now, just because of, the cash flow wasn't in, because the, football season was, 40% capacity of football, or at the games, basketball barely had any fans, if any, really any, just the general influx of cash just wasn't there. So you could see a path where I would say, okay, we got to cut something, but if they cut something, then you're in jeopardy of,
because the problem is that you got to cut something. So you're cutting something, maybe a female, maybe a women's sport. Well, the problem is when you cut a women's sport, you got to cut a men's sport, and eventually you're cutting sports to the point where you physically do not qualify for Division I competition. So there really was no path to cut. So you just hope that, the pandemic didn't last, obviously we're assuming this fall we're going to be at full go. Fans are going to be in Ames for, they were in Ames last year, obviously, but, we're at 100% capacity. The money's starting to flow back in. We're starting to recoup some of those losses that we saw in 2020 and into 2021 this year. And then we assume that basketball is going to, the women's are going to have fans, the men's are going to have fans, and we see better product on the men's side.
So money keeps flowing in. And donors can only do so much. They obviously can't recoup the entire loss of an athletic department either. So we can't keep asking them to fork over their hard-earned money to save, whatever it may be. So they're really theoretically, there was no path to cut. And now where we sit right now, there's probably no path to add because now we're in an even bigger constraint. So we're stuck. So
and the thing too is people. Well, a lot of people don't have a good grasp on how expensive it is to start a program.
Mm-hmm.
It is really expensive. I mean, you're talking because you got to pay coaches. You got to get
facilities.
Get facilities because right now Cap Tim Field is not up to par whatsoever now. It would have to. You would
assume they would probably either overhaul that or build a
new stadium. Yeah, and maybe they. I don't know. Maybe they figure something out with the Iowa Cubs or something. I don't know. But it's just it's extremely and the number that you have to hit to start the baseball team back up is right around that number where it's better to invest it back into football or into basketball or whatever it is. Save that money to put more stuff into Jack Trice or save that money to help renovate Hilton Coliseum or to kickstart the arts and entertainment, the Power and Light District, to kickstart those projects, because maybe it takes only $10 million to get a baseball team started without facility. If you include a facility, it might be 30 million.
The money for the athletic department has allocated for projects. They don't foresee adding anything probably ever in Jamie Pollard's
right now, unless the money unless the donation situation changes dramatically. You're talking. I mean, we may never see another new sport at Iowa State.
We'll probably. I'm just gonna say it. We won't.
It's odds on we're never gonna see a new sport.
The odds are higher for us to cut something than they are for us to add something. Which I also don't think our odds.
We're not. Well, we can't.
Cutting something are very low.
We can't cut unless Title IX gets restructured.
Yeah.
And it allows for different scholarship balances.
And it might, it could just depending on the outcome.
And that's the thing too. That's the thing too, though, is if you add baseball, you have to add another women's sport.
Correct.
So you're not just adding one sport; you're adding two sports.
I still don't think we've seen the end of the budget outfall for not only Iowa State, but all these other college programs throughout the United States. I think it's going to be, we'll get through this year and then they're going to reassess everything. And then summer be like, oh crap, we're in a bigger bind than what we previously thought, after going through the pandemic and things like that. So there could be in the future, like a Stanford, let's say, they were going to cut 10 programs. Like they could be like in, 2 years, like, okay, well, we still got to get rid of 2.
They could. Is in the funding on this stuff is going to change dramatically. Now, who knows? Maybe the NIL stuff changes a little bit because now the best softball players can market themselves, and all of a sudden now there's a little bit more visibility for NCAA softball. Now, do I think NCAA softball is going to become some sort of revenue behemoth like basketball or football? No, but I mean, I guess maybe, but I would doubt it.
I think there's kind of there's a hankering out there for. Because you get football and then you have men's and women's basketball. There's an appetite for those, and there's also a untapped appetite, I think, for college baseball and softball. That just and I think ESPN has done a decent job of kind of streamlining that because they do put all those games like the College World Series, for baseball and softball on ESPN. And I think those things have kind of grown over the the last even 5 years, honestly. So, and now with the expanded coverage, or like you could watch an Iowa State women's or Iowa State softball game on ESPN3, where 5 years ago, if they would have made the NCAA tournament, we wouldn't have been able to see it until they made like the super regional, and when that's on ESPN. So, that kind of stuff, that expanded TV coverage, I think is just going to grow that appetite. So, I mean, I think the income coming in for Iowa State for softball this year and then going forward is just going to be even greater.
Yeah. And that's the tricky thing is so much of this is revenue prohibitive and it's all that. Here, Austin Keeney chiming in with a question. How many of us have how many of us have missed baseball since it's been gone? I'm sure Jamie's sick of being asked. But baseball's been gone for 20 years. Anybody that's under 30 probably never watched or even went to a game.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I actually think my family went to Visha in 1997 or whatever it was, when I was 5 years old. I'm pretty sure we went to a baseball game. So I've technically been to an Iowa State baseball game.
Personally, would I love Iowa State baseball? Hell yeah.
We get into it.
Do I miss, like, if we had it, like, or like, if we don't have it, like, I'm so used to not having it. It's not a thing that it bothers me remotely.
We would be intense, passionate fans about it, but there is not a hole in my heart where Iowa State baseball used to be.
Yeah. But there are those, the Iowa State fans out there.
And what's worth noting too, beyond the money and all that, northern schools are generally not very competitive in baseball. They just aren't. The schools, like Tennessee and South, that's who competes in baseball. That's who's really good at baseball. The SEC, I mean, there's a few exceptions, but generally speaking, you have the SEC and you have the Texas and Oklahoma schools, like in California and stuff like that. Good weather places. Good baseball players want to go play baseball in Arizona. They want to go play in Florida. They want to play in Texas. They don't want to play in Iowa. That's part of it. There's a reason that very rarely is a team from north of Kentucky, or Tennessee even, very rarely is a team from north of there genuinely competitive in, for stretches at a time. They'll have one-off years here and there, but they're not like competitive for long stretches at a time, because good players come from and stay down south.
Yeah.
So you're paying, I don't know, we'll just call it 30 to bring back $30 million to bring back a baseball team, including facilities. If you can, maybe you can get away with that. I don't know.
I'm going to guess today's day and age, no. Just on the facility.
Call it $50 million, including facilities.
Yeah, you got to think that we'd probably have to build like a practice facility too, unless they work something out with the Bergstrom.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So let's call it $50 million. $50 million to put into it. You're talking another $5. You're probably talking another $2 to $5 to maintain it every year. And the team's probably going to get their ass kicked for a while.
Well, Nathan says here's $6 million in operating costs per year, and that's an established program that's won the College World Series.
Mm-hmm. Which means that their operating costs would probably be higher than Iowa State's. I mean, Iowa State's are probably looking somewhere like the 2 to 4 range, I would assume.
Yeah,
maybe 5, depending on travel and stuff like that. But that team's going to get destroyed right off the bat. They just are. Maybe they can put together a miracle season here and there, but for a while they're not going to be competitive at all. So you're spending a ton of money on a team that's not going to be competitive at all, and is really not financially viable either.
Well, the thing we could do is start a baseball team, hire Lou Piniella to come back and coach it, and then automatically get tossed out the first game and spark some interest in it. And then we're off and running.
There you go. It's all taken care of. But despite the non-feasibility of bringing baseball back, let's just say, just for a fun conversation, let's say the finances work. You got $500 million to do whatever you want. We can make it work with Title IX. We can do anything you want. What sport are you bringing back? Or are you bringing a new sport? Are you bringing one back? What is your choice? We'll start with you, Aiden. What do you think?
Going with baseball.
You're going to go with baseball?
Yeah, we've had this conversation a lot in our group chat, but
yeah, we have.
I really like baseball, so I'm always on the train of getting baseball back.
Fair.
I think it would be fun to kind of bridge, kind of what Matthias talked about, bridge the gap between basketball season and football season every year. Just kind of make it, because I mean, there are sports that go on, but I mean, we don't give all of our attention to those sports like we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Matthias.
Underwater basket weaving.
That's our winner.
There it is. I don't know why we're talking about the rest. It's definitely underwater basket weaving.
So I know where you're going to go with this, Levi, but it's the same thing with, baseball and the sport you're going to choose, but we're going to get our ass kicked in both of these. unfortunately. Yes, we will get our butt kicked. I'm gonna just say it. We're gonna get our butt kicked in hockey, like Wisconsin,
maybe
Notre
right
Dame,
away. But I'll explain it when I get
Bemidji State. Yeah, they're gonna blow our doors
I'll-
off, dude.
I'll explain it here in a little bit.
But whatever, you can add hockey and I'd watch. I mean, I like hockey obviously, but I think a nice a bridge of the gap between basketball and the summer, baseball, everybody, not many people hate baseball by any means. So I mean, I think there could be a following there's a lot of Central Iowa people who, like root for the Cubs, White Sox, Royals, whatever. And they, we got to travel 3 hours just to watch a good baseball game. They're not going to sell beer, Keeney. You know that.
They do it club hockey.
Well, okay. That's club hockey.
It's very different, but anyways,
if we added a hockey team and they sold beer at Hilton Coliseum at a hockey game before they sold beer at Jack Trice Stadium, I will riot. I will make a passive aggressive tweet like Jamie Pollard did, and that wasn't really passive aggressive.
So here's the reason. Aggressive. Here's the reason that the answer is very clearly hockey. So hockey, one, we're a northern school. We already play where all the good players are. Iowa State is in the middle of at least 4, maybe 5 major hockey areas. You've got Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, St. Louis, anywhere in Wisconsin, and even within a 10-hour radius, Edmonton, or not, is it Edmonton or Winnipeg? That's up straight north of Minnesota. One of the two. Anyways, I don't know my Canadian geography very well. I think it's Winnipeg. But anyways, you've got a huge hockey recruiting hotbed right around you. I-80 and I-35 connects you to a ton of really, really good recruits. You're close to all of them. And in this situation, you've got enough to build build a nice standalone facility. You've got all this, but beyond that, Iowa has the USHL. And for anybody that doesn't know what the USHL is, that's the Des Moines Buccaneers, that's the Dubuque Saints, that's Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, Waterloo Blackhawks, things like that. What people may not know is that is one of the best youth hockey leagues or semi-pro hockey leagues in the world, anywhere. And Iowa is home to 40% of the league. And what this league is basically it's kids that are like 16, 17, 18, 19 years old that are committed to college, but they're not, but they're ready to play pro hockey, but they maybe already committed to a college or whatever it is. And you have all of that talent right in your backyard. Within the state of Iowa, 40% of one of the best youth leagues in the world is right there. You have an immediate home with a really great conference with Minnesota and Wisconsin, and Michigan State, and all this. In Notre Dame, you have a home in that conference that you can just jump right in. You're immediately playing the highest level of hockey there is. You have all of those recruits there. If you're keeping up with money, Iowa State is in the state of Iowa in general is a growing hockey state. Des Moines is starting to produce hockey players now. Iowa State with enough, if there was enough of a financial push behind them, Iowa State is a little bit of a sleeping giant waiting in hockey. They would, the club hockey teams have been good forever, and that's just a club hockey team or whatever. But you move that up to a Division I team, you give it the proper funding, the recruit, and you get a good coaching staff. The recruiting base is there. We already know the club hockey already has a really nice fan base. You would be able to get fans behind it, man. And then, you would have
basically you're just explaining baseball or hockey right now.
Hockey is so much more viable than baseball. It's not even silly. And Nick is great.
Put money behind a program, a good coaching staff, get fan bodies.
Just be good. Just be good.
Baseball recruits end up playing in warm weather. Period. There's a reason that northern teams are non-competitive. Northern teams do not compete.
Tell that to our softball team, sir.
I feel like you just say that about football too.
Congratulations to them, but they also just made their second regional ever.
But it's possible.
It is possible, but they're not competitive for long stretches of the time. It goes for softball with the exception of like Oregon, and baseball especially is down south. That's it. That is the only people that are competitive in baseball. We cannot compete in the Big 12 in baseball. Period.
Let's just compete then. Just get good recruits, good coaches, get the money to fund it.
We can't. Recruits
Okay,
just will not come to Iowa State.
There's no guarantee that we are going to be able to pull, recruits from Minnesota Duluth, Minnesota State, North Dakota, Michigan,
if you get a
Notre
good coaching staff,
Dame, Wisconsin, Boston University, St. Cloud.
Do you know
State.
how many
I'm just
hockey players come out of
on and on and on and on? The level.
Do you know how many hockey players come out of Minnesota, Chicago, and Wisconsin? There is a shitload.
Don't interrupt.
So many.
The thing you just literally said that it's going to take the time of us getting our ass kicked in baseball, but it's going to just be just as much of an ass kicking in hockey that it would be baseball.
Start with, but the ceiling for hockey at Iowa State is so much higher than.
How do you know?
Because we live.
You literally just
backyard.
said that we could build. You put money behind the program, money behind a good coaching staff. You could do literally the exact same thing for a baseball team. And just because we're in the North, so what? Michigan was literally just in the College World Series Finals not that long ago. They are much further north than what we are.
But Michigan also is a very populous state that produces baseball players. Iowa doesn't really produce that many high-level baseball players.
Go find a coaching staff that's willing to go get.
We don't have to go anywhere to get good hockey players.
We obviously have facilities that can compete with people. We might as well just, if we're going to invest money into a program, why don't we build a nice facility that we already have too?
In the end, though, you still have to get a thing that can't be done. To get recruits, and recruits would rather stay closer to home instead of Minnesota players flying out to Boston or going to Boston or going to somewhere on the East Coast. They can stay home because they have another really good program right there that'll take good players. And if Iowa State was up and going and well funded, they would be able to absolutely compete. Well funded and had great coaching staff. A coaching staff is going to be the key to the whole thing.
Literally, Gonzaga is ranked in baseball. Indiana, Pittsburgh, Louisville.
But
all equally northern teams as us.
They all sit around a bunch of talent.
Notre Dame.
I'm telling you, man. Okay, so if we're waiting to be really good in baseball, why weren't we? We had 100
reason you're just saying we didn't have any money back in it. So where are we going to pull this money out of the magic hat to make a hockey team good?
Century to be good at baseball. Why were we not good at baseball?
Why are we good at football? You say it about like every sport.
Because we're not sitting in the recruits' backyard. That's why.
I mean, there's maybe 3 recruits in the state of Iowa that are like top 10 worthy, in Iowa. I mean, we can develop those guys in football, but we also recruit out of state tremendously in football to get these good players.
We get.
So why can't we recruit out of state for baseball?
Scraps. I mean, there's 1.5 million reasons we haven't been good at football, but a huge reason is
the relationships for these hockey players before they get to Iowa to play in this United States Hockey League is going to begin well before they become into the state of Iowa.
Right, but no, they're already there. But there's a bunch of them that come in uncommitted. And then also,
so you're telling me we can't go start a relationship with a baseball player outside the state of Iowa, but we can go start a relationship with a hockey player outside the state of Iowa before they come and play. We would have
to go outside to get out of state to fill up teams for either one. I mean, that's recruiting out of state is just a thing for every sport. But as Nick has said, my point is that we'd get our asses kicked in baseball and hockey right off the bat, but we'd have to endure a significant. Quite a bit less ass kicking in hockey than we would baseball. Baseball would take so much longer to build.
But you just don't know that because so many things could go different ways. Like coaching could.
Well, you can make
different ways.
You can make that argument for both baseball and hockey. Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee just because we're in this recruiting hotbed.
Well, obviously, there's no guarantee. But if
you're building this argument that there is a guarantee, though.
I'm saying I'm saying there's a better chance. There's a better chance that hockey sucks less than baseball or is good. There's a better chance that hockey is good than baseball is good. That's my point.
Here's something.
Because anything that can go wrong with hockey can go wrong with baseball and did go wrong with baseball. We were terrible at baseball for a long time.
How many high school hockey teams do we have in the state of Iowa?
I don't know. Not very many, but it's also a growing thing. There's youth leagues in Des Moines and Waterloo and Cedar Rapids now. You've got Minneapolis right there. You've got Madison. You got whole state of Wisconsin right there. You've got Chicago right there. St. Louis is a big hockey town. You don't have to recruit Iowa, but you have the best.
Literally what I just said.
Like some of the best, but my point though is some of the best hockey players in the country live within 6 hours of Ames.
But those relationships have to start before they come to Iowa, is what I'm getting at here, though.
All right. But
so we have to recruit outside the state of Iowa for baseball and hockey.
Right.
Then
but
there's
the
also
players
more
that live
chance
close
for us to find those good baseball players in the state of Iowa that leave our state to go play somewhere else. There's still opportunities for you to recruit in the state of Iowa for baseball when there isn't for hockey. There's no hockey teams, high school, to pluck out of in recruiting.
But the difference though is that the players that the baseball players from around here are not at the level of the hockey players that are within 6 hours of Ames. The level of hockey players that are within 6 to 8 hours of Ames, or even if you want to call it 10 hours to include Denver and Winnipeg, you know, that is the middle of the SEC.
Well, I mean, if you count 10 hours for baseball players, I'm sure you could find a couple guys that are halfway decent.
Well, sure, but I'm talking about being able to field an entire hockey team of top level talent from all of them being within 8 hours. You can't do that with baseball. You just can't.
Okay, you're going to walk in there. Okay.
Not sustainably.
Let's say we start a hockey team tomorrow. We're going to walk in there, but all right, hey, I'm Levi Stevenson from Iowa State University. We are starting this hockey team up, and, you know, we want you. You're a high-level player to play here. But your other offer is North Dakota, and they were just number one in the Frozen tournament or whatever the hell they call it, Frozen Four.
You have to build up a reputation. No one's
saying well, you have to do that in baseball too. So
I'm not saying I'm not saying that they're going to start a program and they're just going to be in the Frozen Four right off the first year. That's obviously not what's going to happen. But with baseball and hockey, you're going to suck right off the bat with both of them. You're gonna. But you can be good faster and more sustainably than baseball. Period. It's just the recruiting base is so much better for hockey than baseball. It just is.
Finish your point you're going to say, Aiden, earlier.
So how many people would be interested in hockey compared to interested in baseball?
I would say probably
the fan backing. I feel like there's a lot more people would love Iowa State baseball.
There's a lot of nostalgia for there's a lot of nostalgia for baseball. 100% not going to disagree with that. There's probably initial fan sport probably going to lean towards baseball. Not going to deny that for a second. But I think but success breeds fan support. If you had a hockey team that's playing in a nice shiny new facility and they're good, you're going to have no problem building up a fan base.
You're literally saying the exact same things you could make the argument for baseball, Levi.
The differentiator between hockey and baseball is the fact that Iowa State lives in the equivalent of like living in the middle of the SEC country for football. That's where Iowa State lives for hockey. That's the difference. We live in Iowa for baseball. We live in like a really good spot for hockey. It's such a better option.
Trying to log into the Twitter, but apparently
all of the same things that can go wrong for hockey can also go wrong for baseball, and all the things that can go right for hockey can go right for baseball, but they are more likely to get. I see more people at Waterloo Blackhawks and Iowa.
There's nothing to do in Waterloo.
Facts.
Hey, what about Des Moines Bucks games? They're really popular. Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. Rough Riders games are really popular in Cedar Rapids. Saints games are always really popular. Like there's a lot more hockey people in Iowa than
Nicholas. I'm not saying I'm not wrong by any means. I'm a hockey fan just as much as the other, but he's literally making these same exact points that you can make for baseball to be good too.
No, the whole point is that hockey recruiting is going to be better than baseball. It just is. Maybe not right away.
If you know anything about Levi, is that he will beat an argument into the ground until he wins, whether he's right or wrong.
It's because I know I'm right. That's
so I usually just bow out when he just starts circling around the wagons about something stupid. So then because he just keeps going.
Anyways, we can have this
goddamn Twitter password. I'm gonna put a damn poll out here.
And the great part too is if you have all that money and you have Title IX, you can add women's hockey too. Men's and women's hockey. It's glorious.
Here's a brain buster for you.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know how to word it, I guess. Let me give it a second. I don't know how to word it correctly.
I think I got rid of my Jeopardy. No, I didn't.
Forget it.
All right. All right. Anyways, I
You were
guess
going to go back to underwater basket weaving, weren't you?
underwater basket weaving.
Yep, that's the winner.
I mean, I honestly though I can't even think of another sport that I would even consider adding besides
Might
hockey and
have to
baseball.
be those two.
It's one of those two. I can't think of anything else. I mean, like unless you like add something like rifle shooting or something like that.
Type the wide right Twitter.
Maybe. So another couple options would be women's wrestling, and you could bring back men's swimming and diving, and
those are probably the more viable options based on money.
oh, based on money, no question.
We got pools,
no question. That men swimming and diving, you're getting a coach and some players. I mean, in travel. I mean,
they're
like
divers.
The startup cost for men's swimming and diving is probably not okay. So lacrosse is an interesting one. The problem is we are nowhere close to Nick wheelchair basketball. Nice. Lacrosse is an interesting one, but there is not, as far as I know, there isn't any Big 12 lacrosse. Lacrosse is almost exclusively an East or West Coast thing. It's like, I don't know where the nearest lacrosse player is. But it's probably like
West Des Moines literally just started a girls lacrosse team. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and they had to travel to like Nebraska and Minnesota just to play games.
Right. I mean, lacrosse is just not.
But they're like good too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
they've won like the title, whatever the title is, in like the last 3 years. It's like crazy. It's like what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, Iowa does not have high school lacrosse. I don't know if any surrounding states have high school lacrosse. I mean, you're talking about you're having to field an entire team from like Virginia and Pennsylvania.
Does Iowa have high school hockey?
No. And
got him.
But the difference is that you have. I'm not even going to get into this anymore. I'm not going to get into this.
You know what? We had this coach named Steve Prohm, and he recruited the South like no other. Why can't we do that for baseball?
Damn right. Speak them facts, Aiden. Let's go. Let's get them going now. Come on now.
I wonder why
he won a Big 12 tournament title, you know.
Well, he did win a Big 12 tournament.
It can be done with those Southern players.
So all we got to do is make Steve Prohm the baseball coach.
There you go.
Simple
Doesn't
enough.
need a job.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't see. I mean, aside from adding, like, just bringing back, you know, men's swimming and diving, or adding something like women's wrestling, like I mean, hockey and baseball are like far and away the two best options. In my opinion.
Here's the thing, though. You need to take 2 seconds. Send me the Wide Right Natty Light Twitter password. Apparently it's changed.
Yes, I did, because
I'm putting a damn poll out there.
Because for like
equestrian, for a Big 12 powerhouse,
for a very traumatizing like 20 seconds, like the other day, for whatever reason, the Twitter language that I think it was on my laptop. That I was looking at, it changed to Russian for like 20 seconds, and I was having a full-on heart attack.
You were the one who took down the Colonial Pipeline.
Yeah, I took him down. I took down well, actually, it's funny that really super quick side tangent. It actually wasn't the pipeline that went down. It was their billing system that went down.
That's 100% not true, Chris. We were being very, very sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm going to say
full disclosure. If we were to add a baseball team, we would not like Steve Prohm to be the baseball coach.
Yeah. Maybe he'll only recruit lefties from Georgia. In Alabama, we have a whole team full of left-handed pitchers and left-handed batters. We'll be unstoppable. You know, it's funny though when he's saying that, when he was talking about how he likes lefties and he wanted to go recruit the South, that should have been a red flag. Like, you know,
This man's building a baseball team.
Says man's building a baseball team. But anyways, I think we're about. Are we ready to do? Let's do our new game before we do Aiden versus. Let's do our new game. Let's do our new game. What are we actually calling this thing?
Old geezers versus the trends.
Yeah. I don't know. We're at to figure out something. Basically, it's kind of the inverse of Aiden versus the 90s, where Matthias and I, the old folks in this show.
I am the oldest one. Actually, if Josh
Josh
people might be wondering where
Josh
Josh is. He got stuck eating a ribeye steak somewhere and could not make it. So, but Josh, I think Josh and I are actually the same age. So, you are the youngins.
There you go. So, but Aiden is far younger than.
Holy moly! I could see this picture coming.
I'm pretty sure
they are.
Okay, so here we. Okay, so let's see. Let's get our first. Oh yeah,
right, so the first one is
Marchie versus technology. Next time we have Marchie on, we're definitely going to do that. He just wasn't going to be on this week because he's currently on vacation in Miami. Anyways,
he's with the what's the LD3 boys? Is that who
yes, he is. I think he is. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So first up, what's our first?
We got an image for the first question.
This is the old people versus the youngins.
Wait, we need like a buzzer noise for each of you to use.
Shut up, bitch!
Not that one. Oh,
you can use it. I don't care.
What's this one? Oh, that one's that one. I don't know why I have my sound effect board.
TikTok.
That's gonna be
all right.
That's gonna be my buzzer. All right, let's
all
do
right,
this.
Ready? Who is this family?
Oh, that's mine. That's an inappropriate one because there's this is the TikTokers.
Yeah,
the Partridge Family.
D'Amelio? Is that how you pronounce it? Like
yeah,
Charlie and Dixie, right?
Yep.
Ah, look at that.
What do they do? Do
TikTok.
they cook?
They're TikTokers.
What do they do on TikTok? Like
Dance.
what's
I think they dance.
You guys ever seen the Dino Dad on TikTok where he like smashes cakes?
Dino Dad?
That guy's
yeah,
funny.
they like say something and he like transforms into like a he does like this stuff and then he goes like he just smashes his face into a cake and stuff. No? That guy's crazy.
I know what you're talking about.
Nope.
Watch Dino Dad be a man.
Throw him through a window. Be a man.
Throw a hand through a window.
All right.
Next
question.
Unplug your own-
apparently that was not
unplug
the
your own life
Partridge
support.
Family, huh?
That was not the Partridge
No.
Family. All right. What's the next one?
So, who was the quarterback that TikTok fell in love with based off a song from 2018 that resurfaced last fall about him?
Oh, Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Trace
There's a song about
McSorley,
Trace McSorley?
throw it on
Yeah.
a dime, something like that. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
There's a song about Trace McSorley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, like when he got in the game, like against the Steelers, like it, like just Twitter exploded, and then it got
People
hurt.
went nuts. Yeah.
Huh. I did
Yeah.
not know that
Trace
existed.
McSorley, Penn
All
State
right.
Throw it on
legend.
a dime. All right.
All right.
So we ready for the Urban
No cap.
Dictionary word of the week?
We're Urban Dictionary word of the week. All right.
The word is copped.
Copped. Hey,
Oh,
that means I
That's
got it.
mine. You got to buzz in. There's rules.
Shut up, bitch!
So copped is like kind of like
I
if-
picked it up.
Yeah, picked it up, bought something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know who to give the point to though.
I buzzed in.
Yeah, but I used the shut
neither
up.
of you guys
bitch.
get it. This is revenge from the time that you screwed me out.
Yeah,
of the point,
whatever.
so-
We got
Yeah,
it.
when you failed because we got all of them.
I didn't want to make it too hard. I thought I was gonna make it a little easy.
No
you didn't
cap.
know the Trace McSorley.
Yeah, loser. I got 2 out. Well, you both got 2 out of 3. So, and I stand by my statement earlier. That was the Partridge Family.
3 for 3.
Yeah,
That's okay. Let's see here. So that was
In early returns of my poll, would you rather add Iowa State baseball or hockey? Right now, baseball
obviously going
is
to be
leading.
baseball. It's obviously going to be
now
baseball.
somebody is just getting.
See, the
he's-
Salty.
Aiden, look at him. Sign in
Little
defeat.
McDonald's French fries
butt
salted.
hurt. God,
I don't-
salt. All
Little
these
salty.
flavors, and you choose to be salty.
I'm sorry. This election was fixed. I don't. This election was rigged.
Shut up, bitch!
All right. It's now.
There is no limit to how many times you're going to use
It's
it.
time to enter the gulag.
That's the gulag now. All right. So now it is Aiden versus the 90s. Okay. First up, Aiden. In 1996, Jody Messina was flipping a coin to figure out which of two places that she might move.
What?
Did you say Jody Messina?
Jody Messina flipped a coin to figure out where she was going to move.
I have no idea.
What were the
I'm just
two
gonna
places?
Say L.A. and New York.
Ooh.
I'm going to give you 20% of a point. On that.
20%. How does that? Work?
What's the answers?
The answer is heads Carolina, tails California.
So I got 50%.
You did not get 50% because it's just California. It's not LA. It's just California.
What a bogus.
I'm gonna give you both.
What are the odds though? Like, okay, she's like, I'm gonna move to California, but like that she doesn't end up in LA.
Probably small, but doesn't really matter because she didn't say LA. She said California, and that's not my problem that you didn't know that. Nick got it right. See, heads Carolina, tails California.
Yeah, he said it after the answer. No.
Look at that. Nick knew what he was doing. All right. All righty. So, next one.
Dude, baseball is crushing this bowl.
That's because you probably said you probably like I didn't even look, but the question is probably like which sports do we bring back? Baseball or dumb old stupid hockey?
No, I put baseball or hockey. I'm not a jerk.
Okay. So,
hey Aiden,
this is a two-part question.
Does Iowa have a state hockey tournament played in Des Moines?
Golly gee, I don't think so.
Weird.
You guys are a bunch of idiots. All right, so this is a two-part question. First, the 1996 Olympic Games were held in which city?
Come on, you got this. A bomb went off there. Let's go.
What?
You didn't know about that?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah,
there's literally like a movie on Netflix about it.
Oh yeah, there is. Yep, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I know it.
I was thinking of something different, which is actually
really interesting.
Where was the 1996 Olympics?
I want to say Atlanta, but
That's part one. So you got that.
Got it.
All right. So that year, the U.S. women's national team won their first ever Olympic gold. Who was their leading scorer?
In what sport?
Yeah, you just said women's. Soccer. Okay.
Soccer.
U.S. women's national team is.
It's got to be the girl that's like 1,000,000 years old and has been playing forever.
Well, it's 1996, so.
Right. So forever.
Can confirm she is still not playing.
She's definitely. I don't think anybody in this is still playing.
No,
she played.
If he doesn't get it, can I try?
Well, yeah, obviously. So, okay, Aiden, you got another 10 seconds. I'm going to play a little bit of Jeopardy.
I can picture her, but I don't know her name. It's not Abby Wambach, is it?
She's still kind of playing.
No.
It's the girl. Isn't it the girl who like ripped off her jersey?
Mia Hamm?
No.
Well, yes and no.
Is it Mia Hamm?
Yes and no. So she did not. What Aiden is thinking of is not Mia Hamm. I think it was Brandy Chastain. If I remember correctly, I have to look it up.
Oh,
sure.
But was it Mia Hamm that was the leading scorer?
Mia Hamm is the all-time leading scorer, was the all-time leading scorer at the time for United States.
Who was the WWE wrestler that won gold medal at that Olympic Games?
It's just fun.
Bonus
question
for both of you.
He won a gold medal in wrestling, I assume.
Always wore it out to the ring.
See, this is tough for me because I have never watched a pro wrestling match in my entire life.
Hold on. Let me make sure he won gold, but he did win a medal there. Let's just go with that because it's like if I don't know, maybe you watch WWE, maybe you haven't. Yeah, he did win gold. He did win gold in the 100 kilograms.
I have not watched one single professional wrestling match in my entire life, so I don't know like anybody. I know like a few of them.
No
like,
guess. No guess.
I'm gonna take a shot
I'm
in
gonna
the
guess.
dark.
I know like
Okay.
the most famous ones, but
Brock Lesnar.
that was gonna be my guess. But now I'm not gonna guess that because Aiden saved me. I'll give myself 10 seconds.
Don't look at those comments.
Was it in the comments?
Yes.
I wasn't looking. Give me a hint.
Starts with the K.
Oh, now we just give out
his finishing move. He would put people in an ankle lock.
The only one I can think of that starts with a K is Kane. But
No, it was Kurt Angle.
oh, I've heard of that name, but I don't really know much of anything about it.
Big bald headed dude.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
Guess Kane was bald too. Shit.
All right. Third and final one here. Another two-part question. This extreme sports competition was founded in 1994 by ESPN.
What was it?
This extreme sports competition was founded in 1994 by ESPN.
X Games.
Is the X Games.
Nope.
Who is the all-time leader in X Games medals?
There's two in my mind, but I don't know. Gonna go with Shaun White.
You're going to go with Shaun White. Let me check. I believe that is incorrect.
Is it?
Let me check for sure.
Give me a hint of the sport.
Is skateboarding.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, see, I was gonna say a skateboarder, but didn't.
Well, didn't? No, he just did snow, but he did. It's not Tony Hawk, is it? Oh, because he
Actually,
was,
I didn't know this. Oh wait,
I feel like Shaun White's got to be up there.
it is Shaun White. Good job, Aiden.
Who's
Okay,
second?
So who I was thinking of, and he was the all-time record and leader during the 90s and for a lot of the 2000s was Bob Burnquist. He was a skater. But Shaun White, and actually apparently a guy named Mark McMorris tied Shaun White's.
It's Tony.
record last year.
Did Tony Hawk ever do X Games? I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he did. He just didn't win as
Give a
many.
shit.
Well, he just didn't win as many as ever.
He's like, I'm Tony Hawk. I don't need the X Games.
He landed the first 900, and that's the only one. That's the only thing anybody cares about.
So what
Here's
was my-
another one.
What was my score this
Third
week?
part. Who was the first? Who was the first
Jesus.
person to ever land a double backflip on a motorcycle at the X Games?
Is he a rally racer now?
He has done rally racing before. He's done a lot of different racing before.
I have no idea.
Matthias,
Travis Pastrana.
it is correct. Travis Pastrana. Anyways, okay. Bunch of double multi-part questions. So I'm going to say you got.
So I got one for the last one.
You got a
Half of the
quarter of a
second
point
one.
you get a quarter of a point for the first one because you kind of guessed the half of it, but not really.
Mhm.
The second one you got half. The third one you get
Got the full
half.
point. So
Oh, yeah,
1.75 out of
well,
3.
you did get the full point. So there you go. Okay, so you got 3 1/4 out of 5.
Somebody commented on the poll. They're like, save the money, pay Coach Matt Campbell's staff.
just give him a gigantic bonus.
I mean, if they said,
honestly, that's fine with me. I don't even.
we have money for
don't even
baseball or hockey, or you can use that money to pay Matt Campbell. Which one did you choose?
Matt
I'm
Campbell.
Probably choosing Matt Campbell.
Matt Campbell. We're keeping him around. So I'm not.
Sidelight says, can we just add the spring game?
Though. Who would end up being the only person in the entire world that doesn't give a shit about a $30 million bonus? Matt Campbell. He wouldn't give a shit. I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be a good way to thank him, but like,
I think this poll has closed up. Not really. I mean, it's still pretty close. I mean, you could probably say, based on this, that people would be equally happy with, or close to equally happy with either baseball or hockey, which I would fall under that category. But
yeah, I'm not sure. But either way,
I mean, if we have beer, you get beer at a baseball game too, but beer and hockey.
Okay, which has a better tailgate, baseball or hockey?
Neither.
hockey's in the winter, so it's not really.
Oh shoot! I guess baseball wins that one too.
Oh darn! Because the state isn't
Next
in winter
year.
6 months out of the year. Which sport can you just go get just absolutely hammered at? And it's
Both.
I mean, you can.
Literally either. Did you see
like,
the beer?
I mean,
bat?
I've gotten pretty drunk at some baseball games.
I know, but I'm thinking like drinking is like part of the deal at a hockey game. Like you're just like the whole point is to get drunk and get loud if you're in the fan.
Oh yeah, he's a Cardinals fan. They don't do anything fun in St. Louis, so never mind that.
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. St. Louis is boring. There's nothing fun going on.
St. Louis is literally where the largest beer company is.
This thing that Aiden's pulling up right now. This thing is amazing.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
So Myrtle Beach is actually a Cubs affiliate. This is their class. Close low A ball team. But so like they couldn't they wanted to sell these things. Like this like blew up and people were wanting to buy these things. So like they couldn't like sell them like outright. So what they did was the general manager sat in a beach chair and they said that he was going to drink all these things. And once he drank them, he could send them to you. But you had to Venmo them like $25 or whatever. So like their Venmo like blew up and they sold a shit ton of these. And allegedly the GM drank all the beer, but he didn't. But those things are sweet.
Great story. I mean, that's way cool.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of the last time you told the story that I was like, damn, that wasn't a good story.
I'm glad you guys all love my stories.
All right. I think we're about out of stuff for the show. Next week, should we say who it is? Or
was it actually confirmed?
Aiden?
I mean, you guys saw what I saw. I think he said
you're our booking agent.
All right, let me pull up something here really quick, and let's take to the fans here really quick. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? One fan question while I pull up something to tease you guys. If
you guys got fan questions, we're here for them right now while Matthias pulls up a teaser for who our next guest is going to be, whether it's next week or the week after. But
this is probably going to get us this is actually, okay, here we go. Whoops. I don't know if it'll probably play sound, won't it? If I share it?
We'll find out.
Could you hear that? No,
nope.
You couldn't.
What are you trying to share?
I'm gonna share my screen, but we'll probably get booted off the
well, not if you don't run highlights for like 10 minutes straight. To the point where YouTube shuts down our screen. That was a fun adventure.
I'm trying to figure out. I keep hearing myself.
Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or a 100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah, I've definitely heard this question before. Me and my roommate talk about this all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
What is your guys' take?
Definitely 100 duck-sized horses. Not even close.
Yeah. A horse-sized duck could do some damage.
Horse-sized duck could break some bones and do some real damage. 100 duck-sized horses. I mean, what are they going to kick me in the shin a bunch? I mean,
all right.
Yeah, kick them back. Yeah.
Our guest for next week.
Uh-oh. Who could it be? Is he a linebacker? Oh my gosh.
Is it Mitch Trubisky's teammate?
It is Mitch. It is Mitch Trubisky's teammate. Yes. It showed his name. Dang. But anyways, yes, there's a teaser for our next guest. We really needed some sound there. So
yeah, I don't know if
huge bummer
your screen if it like pulls it in or what.
Can we just go back and have Matthias commentate it?
If your bed sheets are made of, is it supposed to be cold cuts, like sliced deli meat?
Yeah, let's just go with that.
We're just gonna go with it. If your bed sheets were made out of cold cuts, what would they be? Matthias?
I do love ham, but
ham's good. Ham's good.
I'm gonna go with ham just because it's safe. I don't. It is what it is.
That's fair.
I mean, I wouldn't be like opposed to like anything else. I guess throw some salami in there, some turkey, whatever.
Yeah. Aiden, what would your cold cuts be for your bed sheets?
I'm a pepperoni.
This is my favorite question I think I've ever fielded.
Going with pepperoni.
Yeah, I'd do that too.
Add a little
Pepperoni?
spice to it.
Does pepperoni count as a cold cut?
Yeah, well, if it's cold and it's cut, yeah.
I can't argue with that logic, I guess. I can't argue with that logic.
Dumb question,
So
idiot.
just like, is it a bunch of little slices of pepperoni, or is it one huge slice of pepperoni?
Can't you like
I
get
don't know.
those like I don't just like Subway have like those like the large slices of pepperoni, or maybe I'm thinking something else.
I mean, they're like this big, but they're not like huge.
do they even make pepperoni that big?
I've never seen pepperoni that big in my entire
Okay,
life.
well, we're
Huge
talking about a
piece.
house made of cold cuts, so I feel like we can throw logic.
Not a
out of it.
house made of cold cuts. It was just bed sheets made out of cold cuts.
Well, maybe Aiden's taking it a step further and building a house out of cold cuts.
Maybe he's building an entire house out of cold cuts. Who knows?
Hmm.
So just pepperoni. Okay, so my cold cut. I'm okay. So the more I'm thinking about this, ham's a good option, but
Name's basic.
ham is basic. I'm gonna go actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a layer of.
Here we go. It's gonna be like this is gonna be extra extravagant to like the level it didn't need to be. But
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be 3 layers. So it's a single regular sized piece of pepperoni.
that's a small bed sheet.
All right. So okay. So I'm gonna do 3 layers here. And I think the bottom layer. I don't know. Is it just meat, or does cheese count as a cold cut? I think it's just meat, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's makes it a little bit
Cheese
easier.
can be cold and cut too.
Cheese can be cold and cut. I mean, technically,
Just stick with the meat.
yeah, we'll just stick with meat just for simplicity's sake. I'm trying to think about I'm thinking that my bottom layer is gonna be like salami, so you get a nice smooth surface. Yeah, nice smooth, it's like salami. My middle layer is gonna be bologna because it's kind of blown in. It's good. It's got a good insulative factor. I think bologna will give you a good R value on your bed sheet.
Putting
And
way
then
too
over-
much thought into this.
And then over top, I'm an engineer. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay. You're gonna get a good R value from your bologna. And then the top layer is gonna be one big sheet of roast beef right over the top.
Because it has a good R value. Who the hell says that?
You don't consider the insulative properties of your meat?
No.
Why not?
Because I eat them.
Because I
I
don't have that
enough
much free time
insulation
on my
as it
hands.
is. So why do I need to worry about extra insulation?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I think we're gonna end it for this week. Thank you, Chris, for that excellent question at the end. So yeah, our next guest, I think we're pretty sure he's gonna be on next week, but we got to confirm that for sure. But as you saw,
He's the
teaser,
next guest in line. AJ Klein is the next
AJ
guest
Klein
in
is our next guest.
You guys
Right.
gave it away.
Fight
What?
a cobra chicken or a leopard moose camel with a long neck.
The what?
What? Fight
Fight a cobra chicken, which is a
but,
goose,
but why is
and a
goose?
leopard moose camel
What?
into the draft.
I'm dying like
I don't know what either of these animals are.
I'm dying at the cobra chicken with goose in parentheses. Like
Cobra
like
chicken.
that,
is
like that clears this up. Like, oh, cobra, it's goose. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a goose is called the cobra chicken, and a giraffe is called a leopard moose camel with a long neck.
Okay.
a leopard moose.
I understand this. I understand this now. So
Cobra chicken.
fight a goose or a giraffe? Oh, easy. I would easily rather fight a goose. I'm not trying to take.
Goose are
I'm not.
mean.
Goose are mean, but they're pussies. I don't even.
No,
I'll
one
fight
time
one.
I was walking back from class and there was a girl walking in front of me, and I don't know if she didn't see the goose
But
or what.
it's a giraffe. A
Yeah,
giraffe.
well, this is a goose.
yeah,
Giraffes are huge. They can step on you. They can whack you with their neck. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but they're pussies. This
They're not-
goose could fuck you up.
Aiden,
yeah.
Aiden frozen the most hilarious thing I could ever imagine.
He's thinking about that
What is he
state
doing?
baseball tournament that we
What's
have
he
coming
even
up
doing? He's just thinking about that hockey tournament. He wish I would.
that we
had.
don't have.
Can you guys hear me at all?
We can
Yeah,
hear
we can
you,
see
but you just keep
Okay.
freezing in super goober voice in goober faces. Anyways,
And I'm mooning.
I think that's the last fighting thing we're gonna do for tonight. That's the last. I think that's gonna be the last question for tonight. So, anyways, thank you everybody for tuning into this. I don't know what's going on with Aiden, but whatever. Thank you for everybody for tuning.
Rhinebeck internet.
Yeah, Rhinebeck internet. Who knows? It's always dicey. Everybody, thank you for watching this episode of the Nightcap. Next week we'll be back with former Iowa State linebacker AJ Klein, and I'm assuming Josh Lenz will be back as well. So for Matthias and our child producer Aiden Wyatt, everybody have a great rest of your week. Go Cyclones.